Today is just a light day, light throwing, and for my workout today, I'll be able to do mostly everything outside. Arm care, just like shoulder and scapular stability, and just general mobility throughout my body. Starting off with my everyday warm-up, as usual. Theragun. I'm not going to do RPR today because there's no need for it, in my opinion, on a light day. Then active mobility, dynamic mobility, and then a light throw, or well, some arm activation, then a light throw, and then a little outdoor workout. Welcome to the live, welcome to the live. Thank you for the likes. What up, Brando? I'm gonna change up my warm-up today a little bit from what I normally do and do some more full body chain work to start. And I might start incorporating that into all my warm-ups, but just for today, maybe just on my lighter recovery days where I want to focus more on mobility and loading movements. I'm also going to experiment a little with the wrist weights, throw them on my ankles, and just load deep positions in unique ways. But first, as always, I put the Theragun in as high as it can go and just go over every muscle for about 15 seconds. Warming up, activating everything, getting blood flowing throughout the body. And by the time I'm done doing this, my entire body just feels like night and day. From decently tight and dormant to loose and active. What's up, Jay? How's everyone doing today? Let me know if you have any questions about what I do in my warm-ups, why I do my warm-ups, and what I'm going to be doing today, what my training is like, and comment what your training is like. I'd love to hear what you guys do for your training. If you're new to this channel, my entire goal is to throw 95 miles an hour off a mound, and everything I do in my life at this moment is to optimize that goal, from diet, sleep, supplementation, to the actual training and throwing, optimizing my warm-up, optimizing my mobility, and the purpose of this is also to help you guys achieve that goal as well. Sitting right now I'm sitting upper 80s and topping 92. 92 is my top. I have a velo day this week on Friday, so we'll get to see what I'm sitting now and what my top velo will be. Hopefully we can hit 93. Really the main goal for me isn't really a new velocity PR necessarily, but if I can be sitting 90 instead of 88, 89, that would be ideal. So if I can sit 90 and touch 92, I mean, of course, if I can touch 93, that'd be great, but I'd rather sit 91 or 90, 91 and top 92 than sit 88, 89 and top 92. So, and top 93, I should say. I'd rather be able to consistently throw hard. What are you guys sitting? What's your velo? What's your velo, Dirks? Where do you sit right now? How old are you guys? Where are you guys at in your careers? What are your goals with pitching? I'd love to hear. I think the big differentiator between me and what a lot of guys are doing right now are A lot of guys are very focused on one aspect, whether that's in the weight room or their actual throwing, and no one's really cultivating everything and putting everything together. You know, if you're not sleeping right, and you're not recovering right, you're not going to get anywhere. But if you're sleeping and recovering right, but you're not training the proper way, you're still not going to get anywhere. If you're throwing the right way and have perfect mechanics, but you're not eating the right foods, or following the right routines, or doing the right things in the gym, you're not going to get anywhere. So it's, you have to have a balance of everything and consider everything and optimize everything, which is something I think that is why I'm progressing so quickly. 1683 max, not great, but I'm working up. 83 at 16 is fantastic. You know, a lot of people are scared nowadays because of social media, and it is scary. You go on social media and the first thing you see is, oh, this high schooler is throwing 103 miles an hour. No one's going to do that. Like that's top 0.001%. At 16, if you're throwing 83 miles an hour, you're in the top 1% of your age group right there. Most people in high school, like, average players, the average velo in high school at 16 is probably in the mid to low 70s. So if you're in the upper 70s, touching 83 as a, sophomore, junior in high school, you're in a great position. And you can, with the right programming and the right tools, you're in a great place to get to where you want to be, whether that's, a D1 college team, whether that's pro baseball, you're in a great position. And, everything stems back to just optimizing everything that you possibly can. If you really want to throw 95, throw low to mid 90s or upper 90s, or add 5 miles an hour, or throw without pain, you have to optimize absolutely everything in your life. Sometimes it comes easier for some people, and they're just naturally able to throw harder and just have a natural skill. For me, that's not the case, so I have to work extremely hard. I put in 4 or 5 hours of training per day, not even including all the, cooking that I do, all the mental preparation I do, and reading and researching, and recovery, red light therapy, stim that I do. But if you're 16 and throwing 83 miles an hour, you're in a fantastic place. If you put the time in and the effort, in 2 years you could easily be throwing 90 miles an hour, without a doubt. If you had the right programming, the right coach, you could easily be throwing 90 miles an hour in 2 years going into your college career. What's your routine? Sorry, hold on. What's your routine after a throwing session? So after a throwing session, it depends on the day. Today's a lighter day, and I'm going to be doing my full arm care routine. I don't like to do my full arm care routine after a high intensity day because that's just adding stress to an already taxed nervous system. So, hold on, let me just do my neck real quick. It's kind of hard to think when my brain is rattling. So on a high intensity day, I think it's important to do active mobility and things that will increase blood flow in your arm. So after a very high intent day where maybe it's for you, it's you started a game and you went 5 innings, you threw 100 pitches plus all the bullpen plus the catch play and everything and all of the pitches in between. For a day like that, definitely moving your arm and getting blood flow into it is key. You don't want to do bands and load your arm in an excessive amount, but attaching a stem to your arm, if you have access to it, is great. If you have a blood flow restrictive device where you can wrap it around the spots on your arm that get increased amounts of inflammation, that's great. I don't like to reduce inflammation. I like to help support inflammation and accelerate the healing process because, throwing is a damaging process on your arm. So anything that you can do to increase blood flow is key. If you're going to ice your arm, that's probably the worst thing that you can possibly do, because all that's going to do is slow the healing process and delay blood getting to the damaged spots in your arm that need that recovery. So doing anything that's going to, up your heart rate a little bit. So there's actually some good research. I just posted a video recently of a 2-pound plyo ball drop routine that I think is great after a high intensity day. You can do it if you're younger and not as strong. You can do it with a 1-pound ball or 11 ounce, or even just a baseball. You can do it with a 5-ounce ball. But just moving your arm in a dynamic way, moving your body in a dynamic way, and just getting blood flowing through your arm is really what you want to do after a high intent day. And then throughout the week is really where you're also building up key strength and key stability in your arm. So on your low intensity days, like what I'm doing today, you'll see in about an hour and a half, if you stick around, I'm going to be doing a lot of shoulder stabilization, cuff strengthening, and a lot of forearm work, so that my arm is bulletproofed for when I do have a high intensity day. But for me specifically, I'll definitely use the Theragun when I'm done throwing on a high intensity day. I will definitely wrap my arm and get blood flowing. I will definitely use the stim, and I'll hook it up, palm, forearm, inside my elbow here, and then my biceps and my anterior and posterior shoulder. How's it going, Rems? Good to see you. Yeah, ice, honestly, the worst possible thing you can do. I'm sorry to break it to you, Dirks. And it's a very controversial topic, because a lot of doctors, even nowadays, are trained on the Rice method. I remember someone slammed into the back of me while I was driving, and they were like on drugs or whatever. It's a whole story, but long story short, I went to the doctor after, basically just to get, just for the insurance company, so that if I needed to sue this person or whatever, I had proof that I was injured, or, whatever. The doctor basically told me to ice. And when I hear that from a doctor, it's like, it just saddens me, because icing something basically gives you short-term pain relief, but long-term, it prolongs how long you're going to be in pain for. So if you want to have quick, accelerated recovery, doing movements like this are promoting blood flow to your joints instead of restricting it like ice does. So in the short term, if you have a sore arm and you ice it, sure, the pain might go away in the short term while the ice is on the arm, because it's literally restricting blood and the nerves from sending signals to your brain that it's in pain. But once the ice is gone, and the same thing goes for taking ibuprofen. You take an ibuprofen, it literally blocks the nerve sensors from telling your brain that it's in pain. And then as a result, it reduces the inflammation. Inflammation is good when you have an injury. You want your body to send all of its defenses to that injured part of your body, so that it can recover in the fastest way possible. So taking drugs or icing a spot is only going to prolong injury instead of allowing your body to actually deal with it itself. And I've made a couple videos on that now, kind of pooping on ice and drugs and all that. You can see on my page. I do recommend a Theragun. This Theragun is really expensive. I have the money to afford a high quality one that I know is going to last a long time. And if you don't, a foam roller, the crossball, those are fantastic options. Or there's plenty of cheap options that are like the Theragun. You're not going to get the exact same results because they're not as powerful, and they're going to break a lot easier. I've had the cheap ones, they break within a year. They just don't have that durability that a Theragun does, but I think it's a great investment. for both pre and post throw. Anything that increases blood flow, I'm big on. I think blood flow is really the key. And if you're able to increase it, you're able to recover faster, you're able to warm up faster. What up, Jenny? What up, G? Rems, how have you been? I haven't heard from you in a while. How's Italy treating you? I hope you're training and getting better. All right. Moving on to my spine mobility. So I'm going to run through my typical warm up and then do a little bit of extra stuff that I'm going to be adding in, I think, on these lighter days that are focused on chains. I used to do this all the time, but I kind of forgot about them. They kind of went into past, and I was looking through my notes from past years of training and saw these and was like, you know, let me try adding them in, see how I feel. And I just like to vary stimulus as well. Doing the same thing over and over again every day is great sometimes, but varying stimulus is also great. So adding in new things will probably only help as long as you do it in a safe, managed way. But Friday this week, I don't think I'm going to be live streaming it, but I am going to have a velo day on the mound. Very excited for that. Looking to throw 93 and hopefully sit 90, which would be fantastic. And honestly, on my first velo day, my goal for that day was 85, 86. So when I threw 92 on the first velo day, I mean, that was 6 miles an hour harder than I expected. So I'm really, you know, even if this next velo day doesn't go as I want it to go, I'm still in a great spot. Only 10 weeks into training, and in the upper 80s to low 90s is fantastic. So I'm happy with where I'm at right now because I have long-term vision. I know that if I keep this up for the next year, I'm going to be light years different than where I am now. If I can stay healthy, can stay consistent, and keep training the way I'm training over the next 42 weeks, which will take me to a year, then I know that I'm going to be way better than I was. And that's the other key, is that a lot of people think that they're going to go, and I used to think this too. A lot of people think that they're going to go to some summer camp, some 12-week program, some 2-week program even, and that they're going to come out and they're going to magically have 10 miles an hour added to their fastball. They're going to magically have this disgusting pitch that no one can hit, and they're magically going to gain 30 pounds and all of a sudden just have 20 extra pounds of muscle. And that is just not happening ever. That's never going to happen to anyone. I'm sorry to break it to you. There's no program out there that will give you those results. There might be 0.5% of people where they can fix 1 or 2 things in their mechanics and loosen up their pec a little bit and get some extra range of motion, or same thing with their hip or something in their body where something just clicks and they gain a few miles an hour. And that's what you see marketed by all these places. But that's 0.1% of people. That's not 100% of people. You're just seeing what's being marketed to you. And it's unfortunate because the reality is it takes years of work and dedication and sticking to a plan. Not 2 weeks, not even a 12-week summer. You know, a 12-week summer, if you see, you know, 2-3 miles an hour on your fastball, that's fantastic. Like that's like upper 1% of gains. Even just seeing a 1-2 mile an hour increase is good. If you're stagnant, then there's probably a problem with your program, but you also have to play it out for over a year at least before you can determine, was it the program, is it my work ethic, what did I do for that entire year? Did I take breaks? Did I go on vacations? Where did I actually stick to it for the entire year? So just getting loose here, spine mobility. Then I'm going to do some shoulder movements and some chain work where I go through the posterior chain and anterior chain and just do different movements side to side. What's your goal after I throw 95? Did I play college ball? Hold on, let me just scroll up to the top. Did I play college ball? Yes, I played at this school called University of the Sciences in Philadelphia for my first 4 years, where I was injured for basically the entire 4 years that I was there. I had Tommy John my freshman year. Sophomore year was COVID, so that season was canceled, and that was right when I got back from Tommy John surgery. Junior year, I tore something in my knee called the patellar retinaculum, which basically holds your kneecap in place. And ever since that knee injury, not ever since, but for the next year and a half, I had bicep tendonitis, which really I didn't realize at the time, but stemmed from the knee injuring and having weak hips that this transferred up the chain and was making my bicep overcompensate. So that's why it's important to get full analysis done on your body to determine where you're lacking, because I had bicep pain thinking that it was my shoulder or my elbow or the way I was throwing, but in reality it was just because I had a deficiency in the strength in my left hip that was translating up the chain and causing extra stress on my bicep. So that was my 4 years of undergrad college. Then I went to Ramapo for 1 year, and after not playing for 4 years, it was a great experience for me. I did really well in the fall and did not do well in the spring. I got my opportunities, didn't pitch to my fullest potential, a lot of walks, and I just wasn't able to capitalize on my opportunity there. And after that, I trained for the summer. It was the first full summer that I was healthy. Made lots of big gains. Was sitting upper 80s from prior. I was sitting mid 80s. Came back in the fall and dominated. Honestly, my first outing was rough. I was wild. I was nervous, but after that, I dominated every single hitter that went in the box. Many strikeouts, ground outs, sinker, splitter combo. Dominated in the fall, and I had talks with my current pitching coaches at the time, and I was 24. I'm 25 now, or sorry, I was 23. And they said, by the time you turn 24 in March, and this was them talking to me in October, you're going to be at that upper threshold of where pro teams really recruit guys. Like if you're in the upper 80s, low 90s, you have a chance right now to play independent ball and pro ball. But after this year, if you play this year at Ramapo, you're going to have significantly lower chances of moving on and playing pro ball because of just how old you are. Going into being 25 years old, pro teams are typically looking for players who are much younger. So I had to make a decision in that off season, and I didn't play my last year of eligibility at Ramapo. Decided to train in the off season, and then that injury from 2020 came back, and I dislocated my knee. I still never have had surgery on it. I've rehabbed it both times, and I'm back to 100%. Basically what happened was, it was February of 2024, and I was just going through some dry reps, literally just like this, going through dry reps, looking at myself in the mirror, working on mechanics, and then I landed, I literally at this effort, landed and collapsed. My knee just completely gave out, knee dislocated, and the torn patellar retinaculum basically just tore a little bit more. It's not fully torn, but this isn't really a tendon that gets fully torn. It just gets wear and tear over time. And after that, it was very discouraging because I was on the cusp in a month I was going to try out for the Pecos League, an independent baseball league. And, you know, it was very discouraging at the time. So I decided to take time off from baseball specific work and work on myself and grow my business, which did very well. And after a year of doing that, I kind of came back to this and I started my road to 95. And the goal in the long term really is just to, you know, I think I'm done playing, honestly. Maybe I play for fun in the future, but I have a really big passion, number one, to throw a baseball really hard. And number two, I want to open my own facility. I want to train people and teach them how to throw 95 as well and have people reach their goals. You know, I learned a lot from all my injuries, from my knee injury, from my Tommy John surgery, the bicep tendonitis, a lot about my body. You know, I went to PT for five plus years and I learned a lot. So I have all this knowledge now and I want to be able to pass it on to people. And I'm also still learning at the same time. So I'm learning and optimizing and realizing that if I had done all this optimization in the past, I probably wouldn't have had any of these injuries. And now I really have a passion of passing on this information and knowledge to, you know, people who are watching this live and anyone who watches any of my videos, to teach them, you know, that they can do it, especially if you're a 16-year-old throwing 78, 80 miles an hour, 83 miles an hour, whatever it is. If you're my age right now and you're wondering like, I'm throwing upper 80s, can I still do it? I still think that I can do it. And just proving to people that no matter where you are in your career, you still can achieve what you want to achieve. You know, there's people who are 36, 37 years old in the major leagues throwing upper 90s still. So me being 25, I'm still young. And then I know that I'm still going to be able to throw 95. So I just want to inspire other people to do that as well. Went on a bit of a tangent there, but let's get back into warming up. How did you get big glutes training or genes, I guess? So that's actually kind of funny. In high school, I had this weird obsession, not with getting bigger glutes, but with training legs. Whenever I went to the gym in high school, all I ever did was legs. I just got satisfaction out of the next day waking up and my legs being just rubber. I don't know why. It was never to get bigger legs. That was never the goal. And I always was taught as a kid, oh, all the power and all the strength and all the velocity comes from having strong legs. So I just always, in high school, only like pretty much exclusively trained my legs and never knew what to do for upper body. So whenever I went to the gym, it was always legs. It was leg day every day. So that's why I have these massive legs now as a result. So now I'm going into chain work and just trying to reach deep positions in a stable, active way. Working on anterior and posterior chains. So now we're gonna switch it up. I used to do this many years ago, and it's definitely something I'm gonna be incorporating back into my daily routines. Or not daily, but more like weekly routines, maybe twice a week, hitting all of these movements. And then it's side. And then the opposite of that. Oops. And the purpose of doing these right now isn't to get a workout in. So you'll notice I'm only doing like 3 reps. It's just to loosen my body. These are great for ankle mobility. I used to actually be able to get my toe to touch my heel, so I definitely might be doing these a little bit more often. And this drill I specifically am liking now that I'm doing it, because what I've been working on is building coil here. And this is going to be able to get me more range of motion here, to get more coil. Because more range of motion, not always the better, but if you're a tighter mover like me, more is probably going to be better. So if I can coil more here, I'm just going to be able to unload more range of motion. Do I do mobility every day? Yes, I do mobility every day. My friend who's a junior right now also got Tommy John. Yeah, very unfortunate. Yeah, my goal is just to help others avoid the mistakes I made. Hopefully teach many people to, be professional or college baseball players. Yeah, and that's, so there's a lot of research about, why do pitchers get hurt? And 99% of the reason is not because of poor biomechanics or what you do in the weight room, but it's really just overuse. So if you are someone who's gotten Tommy John or, has severe arm problems, it's likely because you are being overused. That's really the most likely case. And that's based on the research, not my opinion. That's just what the research says. All right, so I'm going to jump into a dynamic warm-up now. Nothing crazy, since today's a lighter day. I love my line hops. I'll always be doing line hops as part of my dynamic warm-up. I just go 10 each direction, so forward, back, side to side, in and out. And then single leg, side to side. I think this is one of the best warm-ups for people to do. That's pretty universal. If you can get better at doing single leg hops like this, you're building tendons, stiffness, and strength and resilience through your Achilles and your knees. I'm 230 pounds, so this is pretty difficult and strenuous on my tendons and joints. So doing this every day is going to build really resilient tendons and joints. What mobility do you do every day? Do you have a video on that? Well, this routine that you're seeing me do right now is something I do every day. I start with my hips. So I always open up my hips, and you can go on my page and you'll see I have my full hip mobility routine. I have my full T-spine mobility routine and my full shoulder movement routine posted somewhere on my page. But it's simple. I start with my hips, and then I go to my spine, because the hips and spine are the primary movers of everything in your body. So I do those first, and then I move on to some shoulder movement and mobilities. And it's all controlled articulate rotations before a workout or throwing session. I never do static stretching. If I ever do static stretching, it's always at the end of my day. So you can see I do all controlled movements. And if you've been watching this whole live, now it's basically what I've done so far today, just moving my every joint in a very controlled way and very, slow movements, going through all ranges of motion, trying to get to end range in an active way, not passive. So passive would be like stretching. Active is just getting there. And then at the end of all my workouts, I have different mobility exercises that I'll do, which are static holds. But what I'm doing and what you're doing are probably going to be completely different for what's optimal for you. It all depends on what you need to work on specifically. You can't just be doing the same mobility that I'm doing and expect the same results as me. You really need a program that's optimized to your needs. And I've assessed my mobility on all facets in order to build my program. What up, Brett? It's a nice day out today. A little bit humid because it's been raining, but definitely a nice day. All right, I'm just gonna do one more little dynamic warm up. I'm gonna do some sprints, and then I'm gonna get into some shoulder activation and then throwing. So just a couple sprints to get the CNS fired up. Grass is surprisingly not too wet. It poured the last few days here, so I was kind of expecting it to be really wet out here. We got free baseball here. I'll take that. Cal Ripken baseball. Not bad. Not even like waterlogged or anything. All right. And I'm ready to go for some shoulder activation. I'm just going to do some light band work and then get into throwing. Throwing today is probably about like 40 to 50 low effort throws. I like to throw every day to build resilience in my arm. It might not be optimal for you to do. Again, you got to be assessed to have a program that's written for you personally. But for me, I find that it's very good for me to throw every day. So I throw 6 days a week. I have one off day for complete total rest and recovery. But 6 days a week I'm throwing. So I post all my arm care tools on my page. Everything that I do that I consider to be arm care, I think there's two different facets of what arm care is. One is just getting blood flowing to the arm and moving your arm with some load, loading your shoulders, loading your forearms before and after throwing, just to increase some blood flow and either activate or recover. And then there's intense strengthening and muscular endurance, which I think is more arm care than anything, because that's when you're really getting blood flowing, the veins are popping out of your skin, And you're actually going to see a video of that very soon, probably tomorrow, of what I really consider to be arm care. Because while I do consider what I'm doing here to be arm care, it's more like activation. And I do some post throw just to promote a little bit of blood flow. But real arm care is building muscular endurance, in my opinion. What up, Dominic? All right, so I'm gonna set up the net now. Again, just like 40, 50 light throws. And then I'm gonna be doing my full arm care, arm strengthening that I can do at the field. And then there's some stuff that I need the gym for, that I need some heavy weights for. But we'll do what I can at the field. So this is a nice day out. Gotta take advantage of the nice days while you can. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on what you guys do for training. Do you guys play summer ball? Do you train in the summer? How hard are you guys throwing? What does your velocity enhancement program look like, if you even have one? What do you do in the weight room on a daily basis? I'd love to hear everything that you guys do on a daily basis. I love learning and I love observing other people. I think that you can learn from anybody. So I'd love to hear what you guys think, what your opinions are on training and what you do on a daily basis. Comment them down below while I figure this out. It's so tangled. What is going on here? Okay. I don't know how this got like extra tangled than it normally would be. There we go. I think we got it. How do you strengthen your elbow? So that is a very interesting question, I would say, because the elbow itself can't be strengthened. I guess the tendons around and then the muscles around can be strengthened. But if you're looking for like an answer that says what's going to protect your UCL the most, what exercises should you be doing to protect your UCL, I think that's a more fair thing to consider, probably what you're looking for. And it's all, you just have to consider, all right, here's my elbow, right? What's everything around my elbow that could contribute to this being unstable and lengthening in ways that you don't want to lengthen? And you look around and you see, all right, well, the triceps attaches here, the biceps attaches here, we have the flexor and forearm. And if you get this kind of pain, then of course you have the outer part of your forearm here. And then of course, the shoulder is the lever of everything here. So you want to strengthen everything around your elbow first, and then also your shoulder, so that you're able to take on load and have muscular endurance in all these areas, so that when something fatigues, it's not straining the elbow. And it's, you know, if the forearm fatigues, basically, now your elbow's compensated. If the biceps fatigues, now your elbow's compensated. So it's strengthening all the muscles and tendons around, and what specific things can you do. If you look up muscular endurance and just research what muscular endurance is, I think that's the key to having strong, sturdy joints, is getting really good muscular endurance. So not strength, not power, not speed, but muscular endurance. And not hypertrophy either. Muscular endurance. So research muscular endurance. There's a lot of things that you can do, but it's basically just a muscular endurance exercise is a plank. How long can you hold a plank for? That tests the muscular endurance of your core muscles. If you were to hold a curl, for as long as you could a bicep curl. That is testing the muscular endurance of your biceps. So finding exercises that not only test but challenge your muscular endurance and improve your muscular endurance are definitely things that I would recommend to decrease the likelihood that you get injured in your elbow. And again, I actually do have a video coming out in the next couple days outlining some specific exercises. So follow if you want to see that. It will be out in the next couple days. And it's basically just going to be titled What I Consider Arm Care. So just look out for that and you'll see exactly what I do on a daily basis to bulletproof all my joints in my arms, my shoulder, and my elbow. All right, I think we're ready to go here. Again, just a nice light throw, 40, 50 throws. I'm not going to be doing any kind of constraint work either. Just strictly flat ground. Feeling my mechanics, getting ready for my bullpen, or not bullpen, but velocity day. Yeah, protect it. Yeah, of course. Protecting it is really the key. And just, if you want a strong elbow, quote unquote, it's not about strengthening your elbow, it's about strengthening everything around your elbow to protect it. So protecting it is the proper term that I would use as well. What up, not AJ? What up, Mark? All right, we're getting into my throwing finally. Let me get my glove. That'll be good. So I'm not doing any constraint work today. No plyos, just raw throwing. You know, sometimes you just need to have a catch, you know, not do like ridiculous constraint work that most likely doesn't really achieve much, and just doing some raw throwing. I think my favorite day-to-day work is like athletic based work and moving like a shortstop or fielding balls like an outfielder and throwing and putting your body into strange positions just so that your body can absorb different forces. And then always having a target, always training some sort of command, I think is really important as well if you want to be successful. So I always, whenever I'm throwing, I'm looking at this 9 hole here and I'm picking out a box to throw to. And I have the 9 up to like chest height of a normal sized partner, not a me sized. Going right down the middle. I think what a lot of people, I struggle a lot with command, and I think what's helped me the most is when I'm locked in and really focused. Every time that I'm like locked in and focused on a specific small target, not a general area, like, I can throw it into this net 1,000 out of 1,000 throws if I really wanted to. But if I lock in and pick out a tiny target, I have a much greater chance of hitting the net than just saying, oh, I'm going to generally throw it into the direction of the net. So trying to pick out as small of a target as possible and trying to hit that, you're like literally picking out like one of the shadows on the boxes, not even just the box itself, or like the little net lines that are in between the box and trying to hit that net line. You might not hit it directly, but you're going to be a lot closer to your target than if you were just generally looking in a direction and throwing. What up, Steve-O? Let me know what you guys do for training. I love to hear what you guys do for training and throwing. What do you guys do for command work? I think command work is typically overlooked. And it's not just about hopping on a mound and throwing to a catcher. It's, you know, putting your body in weird ways. If you can throw off balance and hit your spot like that, then you can probably just throw it regularly and hit your spot too. And I also like doing different weights, different weighted balls, throwing like a tennis ball or like a 10-ounce baseball and trying to hit a spot and then going to a baseball and just putting on different loads and doing different things and or different slopes, going up slope, side slope. Just trying to vary stimulus as much as possible, making it as difficult as possible so that when you do this real thing, it becomes easy. But for today's mainly just have a catch, feel comfortable, focus on a small spot, and throw. Very simple day today. I'm just gonna go through this whole bucket of balls, about like 40 or 50 throws, maybe a little less than that, and then I'm done. And then we're gonna do my full arm care, arm strengthening routine. Gonna mix in some splitters too in a minute here. What up, Chris? I'm gonna go top left here. Take out a little string of the net behind that top left box. And I messed up. But if I just generally said top left, I might have yanked the ball that way a little bit, or I might have sailed it that way. Top left. So I'm gonna keep going top left until I hit it, because that's a tough spot for me to hit with my arm slot and everything in the distance here. Missed low. What up, Hayden? Go top left again, and then I'm gonna throw some splitters. Go some splitters. I'm gonna back up a little bit too, so we can see the movement on these splitters a little bit better. Go splitter. That's a really good splitter. I like that a lot. Let me just make sure I'm in a good place. What up, LPF? Yeah, this is a good spot to throw. All right. Splitter. The key with the splitter is just to not overly choke it. And then just timing. It's all timing. Not too bad of a miss. What up, Gray? What pitches do you guys throw? I mean, for right now, I'm only going sinker splitter. I feel like if I can perfect these two pitches, I'll be in a great, great spot. And I might not even add a third pitch, and I might just try to be able to throw my splitter in a way where it cuts like I just did there, but be able to actually control that. I've manipulated it before so that it does cut like that, but it's very difficult. Underneath the ball. Gotta get on top of the ball. And I got lazy there and didn't pick out a spot, you know, so I just sailed the ball. I'm just gonna look middle here. Got a moving target. It was middle a couple seconds ago, but the wind blew it away. What up, Mars? Sinker. Sailed that one. And then go back to the splitter for a couple. What up, Dean? Go splitter. A couple things I want to get in the near future are some new baseballs, because these are really bad. Not a bad splitter. Some of these are just completely, I mean, some of them are like decades old. So, you know, these are some balls that I've had since I was like 7 years old. Some of them have the Little League logo on them. So some new baseballs and maybe like a Rapsodo. Nice. Splitter has been feeling really good lately. Very happy about that. What up, Todd? So I got 5 more balls in here. Just gonna go a couple. We'll go sinker, splitter, splitter, sinker, sinker, and be all done for today. Just a nice light day. Good sinker. That one I felt like my direction was very good. Wasn't falling this way, just very direct to the target. Something I think I need to work on a little bit. Yeah, just being direct. Getting my momentum flowing straight to the target, not falling off at all. All right, we'll go splitter, splitter, and then sinker and be done. If you have any tips or suggestions on my mechanics, anything you see, let me know. I'm always willing to learn. Always open to advice. Splitter is really good. Oh my God. I want to keep throwing, but got to stay limited today. Welcome back, Dirks. Last pitch of the day, and then I'm going to go into my full arm care. Which I do twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. Don't like that. Don't finish like that. I got a softball here. Let's see where I can throw this. I'm not very good at throwing things like this, but I love putting myself in uncomfortable situations. So let's see what I can do. Softball, throw a 2-seam. Oh God, missed the entire net. Yeah, definitely don't like throwing a softball, but not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, what, Dirks? All right, done for throwing, or done with throwing for the day. Time for some arm care. You'll see, I'll get a little glimpse of what my arm care is all about. It's not really traditional arm care. Yes, I'm going to do some bands and some of the traditional stuff, but a lot of it is not very traditional as well. And it's going to be a lot of muscular endurance. And then tomorrow is going to be another light throwing day so that I'm not fatigued at all for my Friday session. I really want to be at 110% for Friday to see where I'm at. And then the week after is a deload week for throwing and lifting. Typically, I'll do my deload week for lifting at the same time as my velo throwing week, because then I'll really be at 100%. But next week I am going away from Thursday to Sunday, so I'm not going to be able to work out those days. So it's better if I just do my deload week for lifting next week as well, in my particular use case. Hold on, I got to prove to TikTok that I'm. We are back live. Unfortunately, TikTok times you out for being inactive for too long. I just missed it, so had to restart the live, unfortunately, but we're back. Time for a full arm care. Let me just get the live back up and running on my phone here so I can read the comments. How's everyone doing today? So post throw, I like to start off with some forearm strengthening. Parts of my arm that get the most stressed from throwing are definitely the flexor and the biceps. So for my particular throwing, that's really the main focuses. And then I do some shoulder strengthening stability, some scapular stability, mainly for maintenance. But my main focuses are on forearm flexor mass and the biceps. So first thing I do is I just do wrist curls, basically until I feel very fatigued in my forearm, and then I hold the top position, and I like to actually, there we go, a little more resistance. So typically by rep 20, I start getting very fatigued, and then I'll hold the top position for about 30 seconds or so. And not only is this promoting muscular endurance, but it's training your brain. So right here, I'm going to start holding because I can't do a full rep anymore. It's training your brain as well to withstand more pain. Training your body to withstand more pain. It's really taxing on the brain, even more so than the muscle. It's like you want to give up. It hurts a lot, but the more you push through, the better you're going to get. Another 10 seconds. I can do it for 10. And rest for a little bit, or at least a minute between each set. What up, Tracy? What up, Marty? What up, Cade? So we're training the forearms right now to withstand load over a long period of time. What up, David? And, I was asked earlier in the stream what protects the elbow, what strengthens the elbow, more specifically, and it's strengthening everything around the elbow in a muscularly endured way. So getting your forearm flexor mass under load for a long period of time, getting your biceps and triceps under load, and then of course the shoulder, which connects everything to the spine here. So after a minute or two, I'm gonna hop into what would you do for biceps? So Dirks, I know you mentioned earlier that you have biceps pain, so that's different. You don't wanna do exercises while you're in pain. So you want first to fully recover and then do exercises for your biceps. So I had mentioned earlier, just you take a bar. I don't know how big you are, how strong you are as you are right now, but in general, if you just take either some dumbbells or a bar, something that you're able to hold in a curled position for at least a minute at whatever weight that you can do that for, and then progressing that over time. So whatever you can hold for at least a minute, and then do that weight until you can get it to a minute 30, then up the weight. And then do that until you can get that weight to a minute 30, then up the weight. And that's gonna build muscular endurance in your biceps. It's very simple. You just literally stand, grab the bar or biceps, and you just hold. That's it. And just hold for as long as you possibly can. No problem. All right, so I'm gonna hop into my next set here. I also wanna plug in this phone because it's gonna die. Just give me a second while I do that, so I can read the comments. So I started with palms up, now we're going palms down, same thing. Doing as many reps as I can here until my forearms are pretty much fully fatigued, and then holding for as long as I can. Now hold. So we're building muscular endurance in all the muscles that surround my elbow. And you want to do the same thing for your shoulder as well. So train your scaps, train your pecs, train the shoulder muscles themselves, anterior, posterior, and then the triceps, of course, and biceps. And I shake out like this purposely because it promotes a little bit extra blood flow. And then I like to squeeze and flex a little bit as well after I'm done with a set like that. So I do this because it kind of like, there's actually research on pain and like shaking it out. Like you stub your toe and then you shake your foot and it actually reduces the pain. So that's kind of why I do it, but also because it improves the effects of the muscular endurance by getting more blood flow. What kind of shoes you wearing? I wear barefoot shoes. They're Vivo Barefoot, V-I-V-O. I got these off Amazon. If you DM me, I can send you a link if you're interested, or you can just type in Vivo Barefoot on Amazon. They'll come right up. What up, Jared? But yeah, barefoot shoes are an excellent, excellent choice if you want to improve your velocity. Everything starts from the ground up in your feet. And if you're someone who is developing bunions in your toes or just doesn't have a very good structure of your feet, it's going to be incredibly hard for you to produce force through the ground. And you just want to build a robust base. You know, your feet are the base of everything. That's where all the power is generated from, through the ground to your feet. And if they're not able to withstand force, then you're going to be in trouble. So I highly recommend getting a pair of barefoot shoes. If you want, I'll send you a link in the DMs if you DM me. Or you can just search them on Amazon, Vivo Barefoot. But very good because they are wide in the toes, so your toes have room to spread. They're not constrained and curled, and then very minimalistic here. And I'll take them off for right now. But you want shoes that are able to do this, right? bend and twist, and it's like you're barefoot and they're not constraining you. Most shoes, you're constrained in this position, they can't bend or twist in any way, so your foot is going to get constrained and very weak. So highly recommend getting barefoot shoes. They also make barefoot shoes that are specifically for like if you're going on a hike, which I think are cool as well, but I just wear the standard ones for if I'm training. And they're very comfortable as well. This is like an ad for barefoot shoes, but trust me, they're like actually really good. I'm not getting paid or anything, but they're just a really good product. I'm a big advocate for them. All right, next set. So we did palms up, palms down, and now we're gonna do deviations. So we're gonna rotate first. Well, actually, in these, it's going to be the mid position here because at the top there's not much stress. So right here is where there's the most tension. When I do this twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays, my low intensity days, which are basically all focused. They're not really low intensity. They're all focused on muscular endurance and strengthening everything in my arm. So right now, these are strengthening this muscle here than the outside of your elbow. The prior ones were more focused on the flexor mass, but you want very strong forearm areas. What up, Bill? What up, Mad Max? I appreciate the likes for liking the stream. That's all I ask is that if you do enjoy the stream, if you can leave a like, comment, or share the stream, very much appreciated. My goal is to help as many people as possible achieve their goals, whether that's in baseball or just any life aspect. I get a lot of satisfaction out of just helping others and more people that I can get my knowledge to, where I can help. That's really the bottom line. So if you can share the stream, like the stream, really appreciate it. I'd like to hold it. I'd like to hold it. Covered for any of your outward rotations. Same thing, as many reps as possible, and then holding at like that mid to top position for as long as I can. Building muscular endurance in all the muscles in my forearm and flexor. And I like to take 2 to 3 minutes between each set at least. so I get full recovery. So it's just too much there. Remember, your body can withstand a lot more than you think it can. If you're already injured, that's a different story, but if you're a professional who's fully healthy, your body can really withstand a lot more than you think it can. It's just about breaking those mental barriers and being able to hold these positions for as long as you can. Push through that pain. And not only is it building the muscular endurance, but it's building mental strength as well. What up, Kane? What up, JJ? What up, Murph? What up, MK? Keith? What up, Chip? This is my full arm care routine. We're just strengthening every single muscle right now in my forearm in all ways. So we did curls with the palms up, curls with the palms down, inward rotation, outward rotation. We do as many reps as possible and then hold at the top position for as long as possible. Now we're going to do ulnar deviations. So we go this way and then I'm going to put the band behind and go this way as well. The last two sets here for the forearms. I'm going to move on to some shoulder endurance and strengthening exercises. Stable, but number two, strong, number three. That built that mental toughness too. What up, Doug? What up, Roger? What up, Keegan? What up, Brian? What up, Steester? So we got one more exercise for the forearms. Now we're going to move on to some shoulder. And then at the gym, we're going to be doing bicep curl holds for as long as I can. And some other movements at the gym, which I'm not going to do live for, but this is basically most of my Wednesday, Saturday arm care routine. Blood flow and exercises. This is my favorite device to use. Unfortunately, I did break it. Like it's just really old, but it doesn't kind of bend the wrong way. So I'm gonna try it out right now. See if it still works fine. If not, there's a different variation that I can show. That's really good. Basically what this is a shoulder sphere, and the way that your wrist and hand is aligned with this ball puts your rotator cuff, targets your rotator cuff I should say, and those little micro movements. Blood flow, and then do it the right way. You'll also train muscular endurance. See, it's very unfortunate. This growth, but should have a long run. But I'm going to show you a different way. Kind of the same thing. No way. Best thing. You're just going to shake in every position until you're fully fatigued. You're going to feel it on your posterior shoulder right here, inside your shoulder. What up, AJ? What up, Garth? What up, Jack? Some of you guys do for arm care. I'm interested to see. You guys just do bands? You guys just do the normal stuff? Do pulls? What do you guys do for arm care when you're done throwing? This is my Wednesday and Saturday full arm care routine. So, here, we're going to do the good now, same thing here. As fast as I can in a micro kind of way. Just going until my shoulder is fully fatigued, basically. Slow it down to a point where it's not as helpful. What up, Valentine? What up, David? If you guys want to see all my arm care tools that I use, check out my page. If you're interested in some remote or in-person training, you can check out my website, roadto95.com, and you'll have a full program written out for you, personalized for not only your throwing, but also your lifting, sleep, nutrition, and different tools to use based on what you have available to you. I take an approach where I'm optimizing every single aspect of the throwing. So it's not just a throwing program, it's everything. Mobility, strength, speed, power, of course your biomechanics, nutrition, sleep, recovery, every single aspect into one program. Get close to letting you not too sure about this, to be honest. Good thing I'll know. Normally I wouldn't use the shoulders here for this, but it broke, so I'm just using it and doing little micro movements as fast as possible, trying to fatigue the shoulder and build muscular endurance. This is what I would consider to be true arm care. It's building muscular endurance in and around all your joints. What up, Robert? What up, Ernest? How's everyone doing today? Welcome to the live. Just joining my full arm care routine. I do twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. Water. Okay. So the whole focus of my arm care routine is muscular endurance. Getting extremely strong and being able to hold positions for as long as possible. For this, I'm actually going to usually I'll take 10-pound weights, but these are 5 and then 2 pounds, so I'll have 7 pounds here. I'm just going to hold this position for as long as I can. Now, this is training scapular stability, endurance, then also a little bit of biceps and triceps activation. Since the biceps is fully lengthened, the triceps are fully contracted. And then anterior shoulder stability and muscular endurance as well. So I love this very much. I'll typically do 10 to 15 pounds. I'm just working with what I have here at the field. So I'm going to have to go a little bit longer than I would. That's okay. Drop it so I can go a little bit longer. Something like that actually. The biggest thing with those is your mental fatigues first before your arms actually fatigue. I probably could have went for another 10-20 seconds there before my muscles actually fatigue, but my brain, there's so much pain. You can feel all the pain while sitting out there. It's just so hard to continue. The same thing. And then here. Just training arm, all positions to be as train as much endurance as possible. What up, Brandon? What up, Gino? Let me know if you have any questions on why I'm doing what I'm doing. What up, Austin? What up, John? A minute or two. Just a sec. Here, we're going to hold for as long as I can. I'll grind down another 10 20 seconds. What up, David? What up, John? They fatigue the triceps right now. We have one more set here. We'll hold this position for as long as possible with the weight. And then I'm going to move on to some nutrition. We're stuff for 7 minutes. And know if you have any questions at all about my training, what you should be doing with your training, opinions that you have on training in general, what I'm running. Entire purpose of this channel is not only get myself to 95, but hopefully inspire others to get them to 95, and inspire others to chase their dreams, pursue their goals, show people that no matter where you are in your career, you still can achieve anything. I'm a big believer that anyone can throw 90. There's a lot of people out there who say that there's genetic limitations, and to an extent they're right, but I think that almost 99% of people have the capability in them to throw 90 plus miles an hour. With the right training program. Some people it's easier for them than others. That's a fact. But in general, I think that anyone has the capability to do that. If they just have to do the right training, eat the right foods, recover the right way, just optimize every aspect of their training. Mobility, what they do with the gym, what they do for throwing, affecting their biomechanics. So I'm going for a little extra. This is really training the posterior shoulder. What up, Chad? So we trained every muscle in the forearm for muscular endurance. We trained every muscle in the shoulder for muscular endurance. Now it's time to target the triceps and biceps. So I'm not going to be able to target bicep work here because I don't have either a pull-up bar or really heavy load for the biceps. But the triceps are pretty simple. And that'll be my triceps muscular endurance / arm care work for today. Check. Oh, that's all. I can hold this for like 30 seconds. Just one. Gosh, What I love about this is that it's blood flow. Big smoother blood flow. So it's just gonna shift out the blood from my joint here in the elbow. Improve the blood flow into this area. Accelerate healing, recovery, and blood flow restriction in general. Step. Hold, push up, push up. Put a plank. By the end of our session here. Go for 10. Check. Here. Thanks for letting me know. It says it's still on. Let me know if you can hear me though, because it does say it's still on. It says it's connected. Maybe I just need to unplug and replug. I see. There we go. Thank you for letting me know, Levy. How's everyone doing? What up, Jerry? What up, Cha-Cha? I think we should be connected now. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me on the mic now. Let me know right now. Now I'm away from my phone. I'm gonna move on to some mobility work now. I think it's working, the microphone. Thank you for letting me know though, Levy. All right. So mobility for today. It's gonna be upper body focused. What up, Jonathan? What up, Scotty? Sorry, not upper body. Today's lower body mobility. So I'm just going to start off with the traditional ATG split squat. Hold. Trying to get as deep as possible and hold this position for as long as possible on both sides. I'm gonna hold a deep squat as well. So we're hitting primary lower body mobility today, all in prep for Friday, where I hopefully throw 93 and hopefully sit 90 miles an hour on the mound. What up, Miguel? Let me know if you guys have any mobility questions at all. What up, Nate? What do you guys do for mobility? Do you guys work on mobility every day? Do you just do it a couple times a week? Do you not do mobility at all? I think mobility needs to be ultra personalized. There's a lot of general things that you probably can and should do that will improve your overall performance, but it also needs to be hyper personalized, in my opinion, to your specific needs. I'm gonna do some elephant walks now, and then hold that bottom position once I feel nice and loose. Now I'm just gonna straighten and hold at my bottom position. Palms to the ground. What up, Y? What up, Cindy? What up, Brandon? Next here, I'm gonna do some sissy squats. Assisted. Going back as far as I can on my own, and then catching and pushing up. Typically I'll do this with a band attached somewhere, but I prefer to just do it right here for this for today. And also holding back here. Sun's back out. I actually kind of like the cloud cover. It was nice and cool. So the purpose of what I do for mobility is just putting my body into awkward, deep positions. I'm gonna go into 90-90 now. And making sure, for me, it's more so maintenance than improvement, because my mobility is pretty good. And when I'm at the gym, I'll load these positions, so I'll grab a weight here and load here. My goal for this one is trying to get my chest to my foot, because I can get my chest to my knee very easily. I can get my chest to my shin. So now I'm progressed to the foot. And holding here. So I did all my active mobility already. I always do my active first when I first start working out and training and before I throw. And then I do all my passive mobility at the end of my workouts. All the static holds and all of the like weighted mobility exercises. Something that's overlooked very often is your toe mobility. So I just like to sit in my big toes, get those extended. Sit here for a little bit. You want to have very flexible feet. So that's the base of everything. That's why I wear barefoot shoes and why I do a lot of my training barefoot as well. Having very flexible, strong, and durable feet is essential because that's where all force is produced out of from the ground up. And then transitioning into flat here. And I like to just try to externally rotate, well, actually internally rotate my hips as far as possible and sit down into here. You'll feel the stretch in the front of your knees here. What up, Jeff? Now I'm trying to load my big toes a little bit. And now I'm gonna go into some hip and glute dissociation. Rock backs, rock back here, come back, and then controlled lift the leg. And it kind of isolates the glutes a little bit. Besides. Now I'm going to go into some tactical frogs for the groin. So I like to kind of try to start here and then internally rotate as much as possible like before, and then get deep into there. And then while in this position, try to lift my feet off the ground one at a time. So get as deep as I can with my foot off the ground. So I'm getting as internally rotated as possible. And what this is going to allow you to do is rotate more efficiently on the mound. And give you more degrees of rotation to work with in your hips so you can generate more force. Just a couple more things, and then I'm going to go to the gym and do the rest of my workout. I like to train ankle dorsiflexion as well. So just go up to any fence or wall. And then I like to go like about 1 foot out, feet in line, and then push the knee as far as possible, trying to touch the wall. And holding. concept as the ATG split squat, but side. That's pretty much it for my lower mobility. At this point, I have a few more things that I will do at the gym to add load. But other than that, this is pretty much my full lower mobility routine. So I'm just going to clean it up now. If you have any questions, now's a good time to leave them. This phone did overheat, so I'm just going to read them right now. If you're interested in having a personalized program ready for you, that will ultra optimize every aspect of your life, basically, to optimize joint velocity, overall performance on the ground. Visit road295.com. We'll have a program that's optimized in every facet, not just growing, but lifting, mobility, nutrition, recovery, and even mental skills that are essential for feeling prepared and doing strikes and performing well. So I'm just cleaning up now. Done for the day at the field and training. I have a few more things to do at the gym. Fully done for today. This, unfortunately, is garbage. Broken half. A little bit upset about it. But it is about 8 years old. So I guess it was eventually going to break. But this is going in the garbage. Plastic is just sharp. It's gonna hurt me if I try to use it. Unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? What up, Ferris? What up, Robert? What up, Apple? What up, Brody? Let me know if you guys have any questions on your training, my training. Any thoughts, any opinions that you might have that differ from mine. Break down the neck here. Today was a light flowing day, and I did my full arm care routine that I do twice a week. Again, if you want a fully personalized program, you go to roads95.com/intake, you can fill out all of your information. I'll get an email with all your information. And we'll be able to set up now is the perfect time since it's the beginning of the summer. So a lot of people are making these to get jobs in a 10, 12, 14-week program. Season start. You're in a better position if you're in high school and you're not playing the way that was people. Most of the time, I would say you're not at the level you want to be. Playing, you're not getting better. That's just pretty much a fact. Maybe you're improving command and pitch selection and mental parts of the game. If you want to actually see velocity increases and straight games, winning games, you need to take the season seriously. My experience, many of the grades they're just not finished. So getting good enough is really the main priority. What's up, David? Just gonna finish off here with some Theragun, a little bit of recovery. If you have any questions, now's the perfect time to ask them. A lot of people have been asking lately, is throwing, X miles an hour at X age good? And I think no matter where you are, at whatever age, however hard you're throwing, I think you're in a great spot if your goal is to go harder and play at a high level. I think there's opportunity for everyone to play pro ball if they want to, if that's something that they want to pursue. And it's just about how bad you want it. And being on the right program. Optimizing everything in your life so that it becomes easy to change. TikTok thinks that I am a robot or something. There we go. Back. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're in high school right now, I'd love to know how hard you're throwing and what your plans are for summer. Because to be honest, if you're in high school right now and you're not at least in the mid to upper 80s, then your main priority should be training, no matter what grade you're in, or even if you're in middle school, your main priority should be training. Playing baseball is the goal. Training is what's going to get you to be able to play baseball. I think that you have to look at it in the long term. If your long-term goal is to, play in the major leagues, you'll be playing 162 games a year. So sacrificing and taking summer and fall off and playing now will just benefit you in the future when you're actually able to play year-round 162 games. So your goal right now should be just getting good enough to get to that level, and then playing as high of a division or conference or as competitive with the team as you can, being the top guy there. my days. I like to iron out whatever spots are tight. So already, right now, I'm pretty loose everywhere. But that's one thing I do love about having a Theragun is I can really dig in deep, find specific spots that might be a little bit tighter than others, and focus on those spots. Like right now, my back is a little bit tight. My mid back, so I'm going to target that a little bit here. When I go to the gym in about 10 minutes, I have about 3 more exercises I'm going to do, and then I always go into the sauna for 20 to 25 minutes. If you have access to a sauna, that's a huge game changer, in my opinion, for recovery, muscular endurance, and longevity. Especially if you're in a hot environment, getting used to being outside in a humid, hot environment, being in the sauna will, adapt your body so that when you're pitching on a mound in a very hot environment like this, you're used to it already, and you can perform at your highest potential. Plus all the bonus recovery benefits. If you have access to a sauna or know where you can get access to a sauna, I highly recommend it. Don't pay for a sauna per session. That's a waste of money. Try to find, like my gym is $30 a month and it has a sauna. So me going into the sauna 6 days a week basically makes the membership worth it. So there are some places that literally will charge you per sauna session. Friday is my velo day. Stay tuned for that. Probably not going to post the results right away. Because I have so many videos lined up. I like to go in logical order, but I will probably skip ahead, and the results will probably be posted on Monday. I'm not going to live stream it because when I'm talking, I feel like it just takes so much energy away, and I'm like out of breath the whole time I'm training, which is good for when I'm training, but not good for if I want to be at max intent, be at 100% of my potential. What up, Ryan? Welcome to the live. Just cleaning up here, and I'm going to the gym. Let me know if you have any last minute questions before I end the live on training, optimizing any part of your life, nutrition, sleep, recovery, mobility, throwing programs, anything at all, let me know. Be happy to answer. What up, Bob? What up, Dan? What up, Nathan? Let me know if any of you have questions about my training. I just wrapped up a light tossing and arm care focused, muscular endurance focused day. Got a couple more things I'm going to do at the gym, but done for today on the live. If you have any questions, leave them now before I end the live. What up, Tyler? Thanks for the follow, Jordan. What up, Tyler? How's it going? Let me know if you guys have any questions on my training, your training, any topic at all as it pertains to pitching, whether that's throwing on my training, your training, any topic at all as it pertains to pitching. Anything at all. Recovery, sleep. Let me know now before I end the live. What up, Gary? Just cleaning up my stuff now, wrapping up, heading to the gym. I'm not going to be live at the gym because I just don't like being live at the gym, really. Too loud, too many people. I don't like getting people on camera when they don't want to be. That's why I like being live at the field here. Nice and private. What up, Peter? How hard are you throwing? My PR, which was 5 weeks ago, was 92. Every 5 weeks or so, I basically schedule out my throwing into 5 week cycles. And I have my next velo day this Friday. So 92 is my top. I was sitting 88 to 89, top of 92. And we're hoping to surpass 92 this Friday. And really what I would be even happier with is if I sat 90 instead of just touching 92 or hitting 90 a couple times, mainly sitting 88 to 89. But as of right now, I'm a 88 to 89 mile an hour thrower that can top 92, I would say. What about you, Tyler? How hard are you throwing? How old are you? What up, Robert? What up, Chris? Thank you for the likes. Appreciate it. Thank you, Tyler. How old are you throwing, Tyler? How old are you? Redshirt freshman at South Carolina. I'm a center fielder. Good for you. Good for you. Like the D1 South Carolina? The real deal. Thank you for the likes again. Appreciate it. What up, Mark? What up, Jordan? Thanks for liking the live. Appreciate it a lot. In the portal now. Portal is the best place to be, in my opinion. College teams are looking for people in the portal. That's kind of how it is now. They're not really recruiting out of high school anymore. I mean, they are, but they're not looking to develop people. They're looking for people who are already developed. So portal is the place to be if you want to be successful, for sure. I mean, as a center fielder, do you know how hard you're throwing on pull down? That's still a really good metric to track. I've had many guys that I've seen go to pitching coaches just so that they can throw harder from the outfield.
makes a big difference in the recruiting. What up, Mush? Yeah, tough going from high school to SEC for sure. 100%. I had labrum surgery last May. Wow. But velo was probably 90 to 91. Last May as in 2024 or like last month May? That's like a big difference. Sorry to hear that though. I've been there before, of course. My Tommy John surgery. 2024. Okay, good. So you're going into your sophomore year. You got a lot of time left to develop. What are you doing for training this summer? What's your training looking like? I'm always interested to see, even though you're a position player, what do you do for training in the gym? What up, Alan? Three to 4 days a week, upper lower full speed. Nice. Not a bad split. Any particular reason why 3 to 4 days a week? Do you like to have more rest, or is it just a time constraint? I'm sure you probably work or something, and I know it can be hard to get in every day, but unless you have a particular reason for 3 to 4 days. Some people just do better with 3 to 4 days as opposed to 6 to 7 a week. Just what feels best for me. Fair enough, fair enough. What do you think is your biggest constraint right now? Is it fielding or hitting? And what are you doing for hitting? Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it. Thanks for the follow. I'm actually going to end the live here. Get going to the gym. But thanks everyone for stopping by. I'll see you in the next live.